So recently, the tax department has really been ramping up when people haven't paid their tax debt on time. It's causing a lot of stress and a lot of problems. And sometimes you might not even get a call from the ATO. You generally might even get a call from a collection agency. And with all these scams going around at the moment, you don't know whether it's real or it's not real. So stay tuned, and we're going to give you some tips and things to avoid if you can't pay your tax debt when it's due. Hi, I'm Andrew Jeffers, and this is the 2-Minute Accountant. So when you can't pay your tax debt, let's talk about it. What are your tax debts? Generally, you've got GST, you've got superannuation, which isn't necessarily a tax debt, but you have to pay it to the tax department. You've got income tax, and you've got pay-as-you-go withholding. That's the employee's tax. So we've got a whole bunch of those. Now, whether you're monthly, quarterly, or yearly in terms of your reporting, you have to make sure that you report on time. So those are the sort of debts that you need to deal with the tax department on a regular basis. So what happens if you can't pay your debts? Well, the best and better way to deal with things is, again, never bury your head in the sand. You have to deal with these things up front. Now, a few years ago, they changed the law in that if you don't report when you're supposed to, or within a 3-month window, that you as a director can be personally liable for superannuation and pay-as-you-go withholding. So just think about that. You're the director of the company and you've let the accountant, external or internal, tell you that they're lodging the forms on time and they haven't. You can be personally liable. So that's a really important point that needs to take home for you to go and make sure that you understand that the tax reporting has been done on time, or at least within that 3-month window. So now we're at the point you've gone and double checked that things have been lodged on time, and that's great, but you just don't have the cash to deal with it. So there's a couple of things you can do. You can either put more money into the business, you can either borrow some money from somewhere else, or you can do a deal with the tax department. Now, they're pretty reasonable. They want you to pay your tax debts. They want you to survive and they want you to win. So they'll put you on a payment plan, but you've got to keep your word. You know that little thing about having integrity? Say what you mean what you say? Well, it goes a long way, particularly when you're dealing with the ATO. Now, here's some really scary stuff that it's about to come up in Parliament, and I'll tell you that in a second. Now, this is really important for everybody here if you do have a tax debt. Either it's been passed or it's been in the Parliament at the moment. They are considering that if you don't pay your tax debts or you haven't gone into an arrangement with the ATO, that they will refer you to a credit reference association. So what does that mean? Basically, it means a black mark on your name. It's a black mark on the company's name. So you haven't done your taxes, you haven't done a deal with the ATO, and now you have a black mark against you when you go and borrow money. Now, don't get me wrong, you can sort it out, but it will affect you personally about borrowing money for a house. I forgot to pay a Telstra bill many years ago. It's a long story, but it was my mum's Telstra bill. They put me on a list. It lasted for 3 years, and it stopped me going and refinancing my house over a $75 bill. So think about the impact on that. If you bury your head in the sand and you don't deal with the ATO when you should deal with them or do a deal with them, it will affect you seriously. It will affect your credit rating, it will affect your business, it can affect everything. This is a game changer, 100%. So if anything you need to do is you need to be upfront, you need to lodge your forms on time, and you need to get a help of your accountant